Hi meows, Miayan here. Welcome back to part 3 of translating the lyrics of Plastic Love. Last video, I said we had one last verse left, but if you look at said verse, it's actually just a repeat of verse 3. So now we can say bye-bye to this block of text and move on. So there are two types of translations, literal and dynamically equivalent. I first came across this definition from a book called Dig Deeper. It originally talks about the various translations of the Bible in English, and the concept is the same. There are literal translations, like what I have on the left of my screen. The word 突然 really means suddenly, like literally means suddenly, and キス literally means kiss. On the other hand, we have dynamically equivalent translations. For example, in English we have a phrase called two peas in a pod. And in English, in Japanese, in Japanese it's 売り二つ. 売り二つ. If you look at what 売り means, it's melon. And 二つ means two.So, like 2 melons. リンゴ2つください is like, please give me 2 apples. So, if you go up to 2 people who look like 2 peas in a pod and you call them 2 lemons, they're probably gonna think you just called them silly people. So, it's not literally the same. Melons and peas in a pod.The two word is quite literally the same, 2 peas in a pod, 2 melons, but the words are different, but they mean the same thing in different cultures, in different contexts. So, on the left, I have been quite literal. The word literally means what it means. On the right, I've been a bit half-half. I've been literal at times and dynamically equivalent at others. To me personally, a good translation is very, as much as possible, literal. And when not possible, only when it's not possible, then it's dynamically equivalent. So I'm going to aim for that for this Plastic Love translation. We'll see how far we go. Today we have one more friend to join us. That is Google Translate, because Papago sometimes is just not as good as Google Translate. We'll see as we go along. So, let's start from the top. 突然のキスや熱い眼差しで恋のプログラムを狂わせないでね。So, with sudden kisses and passionate glances, don't mess up the love program. In Google Translate,This will give you with a sudden kiss or a hot look. Don't let the love program go crazy. So, if you noticed in Papago, the kiss and glance is plural. In Google, it's singular. My translation is also singular.And honestly, in Japanese, it's not really very explicitly said. But if you think about it, whether it's singular or plural, they both mean the same thing. Don't do that, you're going to confuse my love program. But there is one thing that I really like about the Papago translation, and that's the word mess up. 狂わせる. I translated it to confused, but if you look at 狂わせる, if you remember, the example over here, 彼女が僕を狂わせる. She drives me mad. Now, you wouldn't really say you drive a program mad, unless, of course, you're talking about Detroit Become a Human, but that's a whole different story altogether. So, I really like the word mess up for this. Don't mess up my love program with a sudden kiss or a hot gaze. And I think that is done. 出会いと別れ上手に打ち込んで This line, in both Papago and in Google Translate, I feel it doesn't do very well. So we're just gonna look at them word by word. 出会い is encounter. 別れ is parting. So I felt that parting would match meeting better than separation. So I'm going to change this to meeting and parting. Is well inputted into my program. It sounds a bit weird, so I'm going to change it to is well programmed. And it's going to be implied that it's talking about the love program. 時間が来れば終わる Don't hurry. 時間が来れば Be over with time versus 時間が来れば終わる End when time comes. So this is very literal. Google is very literal. 時間 time 来れば when come 終わる end. Because in English we don't really say if the time comes. We usually say when the time comes. But I believe the meaning is still there. When the time comes, it will end. But it's not like the time will come. You don't know. If it comes, it will end. Don't hurry. So, second verse. 愛に傷ついたあの日からあらららら。愛に傷ついたあの日から From that day when I was hurt by love. This is a good translation. Well, in my opinion, of course. 愛に傷ついたあの日からずっと Ever since that day, the day someone was hurt by love. They kind of added in words that aren't in the original. 愛に傷ついたあの日からずっと I'm gonna keep it as this, I think. Since the day I was wounded by love. Of course, if you look on the left, a more literal translation is from that day. Okay, fine. Let's go for a more literal translation wherever we can. From that day, we'll have to add a where here to make sense in English. From that day where I was wounded. Whereじゃないか when か From that day when I was wounded by love. From that day. Okay. From that day I was wounded by love. Now we come to a sentence where I feel like I have to make a clarification. So in the first part of this series, I mentioned that うちに over here, うちに means during or while. But if you notice, I didn't use this word in my translation. And that's because I didn't realize that this line and this line are connected. So while she was dancing to pass time in a trendy disco, she was living a swapped day-night cycle. Yeah, so I failed to recognize the existence of this word. So, if I were to put that in one sentence, while dancing at a trendy disco to pass time, or pass time. I feel like pass the night away sounds nicer. Anyway, she's dancing at a disco at night to pass time, so it should be fine. While dancing at a trendy disco to pass the night away, I continuously lived as if day was night and night was day. Yeah, so I'm just gonna... Okay です。あららら。Okay. 覚えた魔術なのよ。I'm sorry. It's a magic I remember. So, a friend of mine was telling me that maybe this magic she remembers is the method of living this swapped day-night cycle, and that method is dancing at a trendy disco. Maybe. So, she's dancing at a disco and she tells you 私のことを絶対じゃないか。決して本気で愛さないで。Okay. So this part is a bit weird, I suppose, in English. Definitely do not fall for me seriously. And also, 愛さないで is do not love me, but I wrote it as do not fall for me, which I understand why I did that, but to make it more literal, we are going to say do not love me seriously. Would you say do not seriously love me? Or would you say do not love me seriously? And instead of definitely, because if you look at the meaning of 決してnot ever, not by any means, not in the least. So I feel like we can, instead of using definitely, which sounds kind of weird here, I would use do not ever love me seriously. I think that's okay. 恋なんてただのゲーム. Love to me is just a game. That's fine. 楽しめばそれでいいの. As long as I enjoy myself, it's all good. That's good too. 閉ざした心を飾る. ここか。閉ざした心を飾る. My closed heart is dressed in. 派手なドレスも靴も孤独な友達. Yes, I'm missing an S here. My closed heart is dressed in flashy dresses and shoes. My lonely friends. I feel that's as literal as it gets, so we can move on. Now, this section, I have another thing to clarify. So, 私を誘う人は皮肉なものね。いつも彼に似てるわ。The people who invite me always resemble him. And usually, I think in English, we put the word ironically in the front of the sentence. So, ironically, the people who invite me... would you use the word invite? 誘う? Approach me? I think in English it's more of like the people who approach me. But never mind. Let's just put it as invite. Because that's more literal that way. And I think it still makes enough sense. Ironically, the people who invite me always resemble him. あいつに似てる。彼ね。あいつじゃない。彼に似てる。なぜか思い出と重なり合う。いつもここで間違いをするんですね。なぜか思い出と重なり合う。Okay. For some reason, the memories overlap on one another. It's literal, but I feel like we can probably make it nicer in English. So, it's like, it's a poetic way of saying that she recalls the memories of the guy who hurt her heart when other people invite her. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it for now and move on first. グラスを落として急に涙ぐんでも. So this is the part. In part 2, I was not very clear about what she meant, like what glass. But then, as I thought about it, you're in a disco, what are you doing? You're dancing, you're drinking. So it's pretty common to hold a glass of wine or beer or some alcoholic drink. And if she's holding on to a glass and someone invites her and she is reminded of the guy who broke her heart, well, she would probably react in a certain way, and probably she drops her glass in kind of like either shock or hurt, and because she is so strongly reminded of those happy memories she had that have turned into not so happy memories. I suppose when you love someone, everything reminds you of that person. Whether the guy who invited her, maybe his his shirt was similar, his pants were similar, his shoes were similar, the way he spoke was similar, the pickup line was the same, the drink he was carrying was the same, the song playing at the time by the DJ in the disco was the same. A lot of things could happen, and all these things could trigger her memories of the guy who broke her heart. And, well, her reaction to this avalanche of emotions when the memories overlap is to react by dropping her glass and almost crying. But even at that state, she says, do not ask me why. Don't ask me why I'm crying. Which is ironic in a way, because this song tells you why she's crying. It also doesn't tell you everything about why she's crying. We don't know what happened to her between her and the guy who broke her heart. But yeah, don't ask. Don't ask. So, the last verse also has something that is really poetic. And I completely missed it the first time in the previous part. So, 夜更けの高速でごめんなさい。夜更けの高速で So at first I said like late at night on a highway, but but 夜更けの高速 you can say like 私の鉛筆 my pencil. 夜更けの高速 could also be a late night highway. And the reason why I think that is more accurate is because it is followed with 眠りにつく頃. So when you're driving on a highway or you're driving to a place, もうすぐ着くよ. We're gonna reach soon. つく is to reach. So 眠りにつく is like reaching sleep. 頃 is about that time. So about the time that you are reaching sleep on the highway, on the late night highway, it's like a poetic way of saying when it is time to sleep. ハロゲンライトだけ only halogen light, or only a halogen light, only the halogen light. 怪しく輝く 怪しいI think I mentioned in the previous part that I probably think that suspiciously is a better word, but if you check out what Google Translate does, it uses the word mysteriously, and I kind of like that feeling, so I'm gonna use it. Only a halogen light is shining mysteriously. And this part, 氷のように冷たい女だと囁く声がしても even if 囁く声 is a voice that is whispering, a whispering voice. So even if a whisper tells you, or a whisper 声がしても even if a whisper So that she's an ice cold woman is pretty fixed. It's 氷のようにいや違うね違うわ There's a even more literal translation of this, that she's a woman as cold as ice, as cold as ice. だって、氷 ice のように s 冷たい cold. Yeah, so she's a woman as cold as ice. だと is that. So, even if a whisper so tells you is the part that is dynamically equivalent, because oh my goodness なんやねんびっくりしたんやごめんなさい急に雷がYeah. Okay, so the word tells you is not literally found here. 囁く声がしても even if a whispering voice does something. Yeah. I'm just gonna leave it as tells you because this part is definitely a verb, but there's no literal equivalent in English, so we'll just leave it as tells you. Even if a whisper tells you that she's a woman as cold as ice, don't worry. I'm just playing games. I know that's plastic love. Dance to the plastic meat. Another morning comes. So it's really, really a sad song, isn't it? This song really is very human. She goes to a disco. She enjoys the romance. She enjoys the flirting. But she's also keeping her heart cold as ice, not letting anybody else come, not opening up her heart. After all, her heart is closed and it's dressed in flashy shoes and dresses. But at the same time, even though she doesn't want real love, she still seeks plastic love, and it's kind of sad. It's like she's given up on real love. And she's definitely still heartbroken, and she definitely remembers the guy who broke her heart, and it would be horrible if she still saw him around at the disco from time to time. He wouldn't approach her anymore, and it would just make her more and more hurt if she were to see him again and again. But maybe that's the reason why she always goes back to meet him. Maybe that's the reason why she seeks all this plastic love, all this attention, because then maybe he'll look back. I'm actually literally crying right now. It's not even funny. Oh my goodness. Well, and with that, I think I've kind of shared... Oh, wait, I just noticed something. Even if I drop my glass and tears fill my eyes suddenly, I think in a nicer way it would be... Even if I... drop my glass and suddenly... But the 急に like the 急に涙ぐんでも 急に is before the tears, so I feel like suddenly should come before if possible, and suddenly tears fill my eyes. Don't ask me why. Okay, I like that. Oh wow, I've been going on for 25 minutes. Okay, so with that, I conclude that this is my translation of Plastic Love. I will be leaving the translation in the description, as well as a PDF file of what I have on the left, which is the literal meanings of words written on top of them. But don't worry, the one that I will have available for download is written by my mother, who has a lot nicer handwriting than me. So you will not be tortured by my ugly handwriting. Download it if you wish. And with that, I hope to see you when we translate the next song together. じゃあ、またねー。나한테 절대 빠지지 마라. 반해지 마. 나한테 절대로 반해지 마. 사랑은 그냥 게임이지. 즐거우면 그게 다야. 대박. 아니 이게 말이 됩니까? 아, 대박이다. 그럼 다음에 또 보자. 에헤.